commonplace to pick Zeri here based on their bans.
We could see like Kalista Renata, you know, like a lot of picks we haven't really seen in the LCK. We've seen otherwise. Draven, Caitlyn, you know, Caitlyn Lux, the old school Zeri counter. I mean, I think that's a very good option here. Like we talked about, it's like, okay, clearly the T1 is like, are you guys gonna put Diablo on Zeri again? Okay, and they wanted them to do it. I'm banning Lucian. Like, this seems like a good option for you guys. And now we're just gonna pick the other counter, you know, because there's so many available right now, and this isn't always a surefire way to just straight up beat the Zeri. But again, based on what we saw in the 2v2 last time, if I'm T1's coaching staff, I trust that it's gonna happen again.
I don't think there's any reason to believe otherwise. That's for sure. Now, the next question, you know, we've kind of solved the bottom lane. Pretty cool that T1 are willing to go into another different kind of counter composition here in the bottom side lane. What does Live Sandbox want to prioritize? It looks like it will be the Wukong, obviously very high tier. I was wondering if they might even consider, you know, trying to pick for Guti once again, because the guy did look like he was really on point today. You know, maybe even pick up a Nazir or maybe pick up a Ryze earlier or something like that. Not the case. And now we have Nidalee.
Okay. Renekton is banned, but there's a lot of other strong AD picks for mid that you can play with Nidalee. One of the older Nidalee pairings that we actually saw in 2021 on his release was Yone Nidalee, and that was something we saw all the time with Talia as well, just any AP jungler with the Yone. So let's see what Live Sandbox wants to ban here in terms of potentially those AD mid laners. As obviously Cassante is still available here. This is a scary draft that T1 has put together already. So much range, so much poke. Will be the Cassante first. Galio's gone.
Yeah, Wukong Galio, you know, even in a position to go for Camille again, which Dahyuk already showcased. So I think that's actually a pretty nice ban. Also banning out Guti in general, you know. They didn't take away his Azir, but they took away mid picks at least.
Sion, another AD pick. I don't think that would be piloted by Bay in this case, but you know, you're playing for a late game where you have a nice front line for all that poke, including Lux poke. I mean, it's not ignorable in a comp like this. You know, you're going to do a ton. Okay, Twisted Fate, you know, not going to go for the Ryze this time around, but is going to be T1 saying, all right, I can ult bottom. We have Nidalee dive. The setup is there with the spear poke on top of the Lux push in. And then you just kill Diablo over and over and over again. So Guti needs to play a champion here that can either match the rotation or can crush lane. And the one that stands out to me, besides the Ryze, which is the other common response, but another one that could have gone with Sylas, but not a lot of great ults to steal here besides the Twisted Fate ultimate.
Yeah, didn't you hear Sylas is he's gone. People don't play him anymore.
Yeah, he's done.
So. Yeah, he's just not a thing. But yeah, we'll probably see him coming back, probably in the LCK as well. We have so many fantastic Sylas players. And there it is once again. So this time the Ryze and the Camille will be together, and the follow-up will be Fiora. So Camille versus Fiora in the top lane is going to be a lot of fun. And there is your AD pick. It's not one like a Renekton that can set up huge ganks for the Nidalee, but certainly is going to be going back and forth and has some really nice side lane pressure. Both teams have incredible 1-3-1.
Man, is Zeri bad? Boy, were we wrong. But
there was a time. I remember I remember that. You're right. Oh man.
And then Zeri got nerfed, and we were like, wait a minute, she's strong.
I think Guti might be dead here. We also have the Nidalee over the wall. Just way too much damage. He doesn't even get a chance to flash.
Speaking of range, Vincenzo's like, one slap and I'm out.
Yeah. Speaking of priority as well, okay, Bay is just in there. I don't know about that. I really don't know about that TP. He nearly dies, but it got the job done.
Guti's having a good lane, though.
Yeah. And look at this. We actually have Vincenzo going for a gank in mid. Bay does not have flash because he had to flash away from the turret.
Trying to set up for a topside play here. Dahl should know.
Yeah, now he knows. As Grand Challenge comes in, he's like, oh, can I escape? Well, no, you can't. He's not able to get the Grand Challenge either. Dahyuk able to kite it out extremely well on the edge of his Hextech ultimatum and just allow his mid laner Well, speaking of which, here's Vincenzo, and the Grand Challenge comes out this time. He's got a TF on his way as well, but Dahl is being kited out pretty well. The knockup comes in, but the damage is not enough onto Dahl, who is going to survive. And now we've got Vincenzo all alone. He's got the second activation of his Cyclone. He's feeling pretty sad himself, though, and Bay is just going to pick up the kill. Meanwhile, T1 almost took a turret, so everything is going right for T1. They are 5,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, side lane gets you a turret, but it's very minimal compared to what T1 is getting elsewise.
Okay, Dahyuk wants a little bit more of the action, gets right onto Smash. They nearly take him out, and actually Diablo is going to finish him off, as meanwhile Dahl is like, wait, I thought we were winning. What is going on? He is going to get away because of those traps that were placed by Smash. And actually Vincenzo just walks right over them anyway. That all leveled up, so I suppose he'll be really fast around the jungle, but that doesn't mean you just face check the enemy jungle. There's that Shirelli as we were talking about. Forrest nearly dies, but might be able to trade one back. Yeah, that is a massive headshot coming out from Smash, and that will be enough damage. And now Dahl is just playing that front line really well in these narrow corridors as a nice little pick goes on to Guti.
Between the Lux here and the Nidalee's poke, you know, for any approaching champions, so much safety, I think, to escort this in, and they're going to try to commit 4-man to this.
And here's Dahyuk again. He's going to lock down the Nidalee, and you see the rest of the team is being zoned away, so Nidalee goes down, so does the Lux. And Dahl once again left here to frontline. Dahyuk feels like he's trying to carry the team on his back right now, and he is doing exactly that. Bay says, yeah, I'm getting the hell out of here. Triple kill for the Zeri. Otherwise, you might find yourself a little bit behind in a Zeri moment as, okay, the spear is going to miss, but it doesn't matter because he's alone, and there are about a million other abilities that T1 has. Actually looking to play towards the Fiora pretty handily here. Now, we do have Guti here as well, so this might turn into a big scrum. Dahyuk already pretty low. As in comes the Realm Warp. At least the gold card is there, but Dahl is still a little bit left out to dry. He can't get out here all alone, and the entire team of Live Sandbox was actually here. This is on Vision. Live Sandbox can't realistically... I mean, they do have Rise and Zeri, but T1 should absolutely look to punish this, as Vincenzo looking for an engage, but at the end of the day, they've got Destiny Gate. They know where the Wukong is, and now this Baron extremely low. They're looking to get it down, and a massive Cyclone comes in. Vincenzo immediately dies, though, and that is the front line gone. Diablo is trying to get in there and do that Zeri damage. The Zeri moment has happened, and I believe he's got his Infinity Edge either way, looking at the damage numbers.
Oh, man.
He's not, no, he doesn't quite, but he's
close.
Able to get in there and get anything done, and the Baron will not go either way.
The team fights here are really about the setup and the CC, and obviously the range advantage that Smash has is pretty huge until, okay, we're just doing this again.
We're doing it again. And, I mean,
Dahyuk
yes,
on the flank.
Diablo's got Infinity Edge at this point, I assume. Here's Dahyuk once again. Immediately has to go to his stopwatch. He's like, okay, well, I can't do anything here. And fantastic frontlining this time from Dahl. Unbelievable. He's able to shut down the Wukong. He's able to give room. It's just way too telegraphed at that point.
And even if you...
That's part of doing it 6 times in a row.
Even if the binding doesn't force a stopwatch, I don't know if you kill Smash there. He's got so much support. Realm Warp, one last ride.
Oh, they're doing it. Yeah, one last ride. You know what? Bay is dead. It actually ends up working out. It might not be the last ride after all, because Dahl nearly dies, and here comes Diablo. Nearly gets chunked out. Is now Dahyuk going to go into that back line? He is alone. Immediately gets burst down a little bit too far ahead of his team. And now Diablo's going to press that flash button, and he's just nearly going to die. And he does in the end. Smash takes him out, as now Dahl is just left unchained going in. And this game is just insane. We have completely gone off the rails.
No. Stopwatch. Soon to be GA. We're getting to the 40-minute mark territory here, potentially. I could feel it. I could feel a long one.
Dahyuk? What? Oh, okay. It's just a massive Realm Warp in the back line. And everybody that was in the front is just immediately melted. The Zeri is totally online. It ends up being a wonderful bait. Even T1 looked confused by that. And they kill 4 members, but there's no objective.
There's no objective.
But they killed 4 members.
But the objective is to kill the super minions.
Uh-oh. Goody a little bit alone here.
Guti,
and,
okay.
Whew. As, okay, here we go, grand challenge. This Fiora is ginormous at this point in time. The flash in denied the gold card from the Hextech ultimatum, but the second one comes in, and it is enough. Guti will be able to take down the TF in the trade. Well, now your Ryze doesn't have TP, so I guess I'm just going to do this. Oh, and the secret, no, Smash, where are you going?
Oh, he didn't know there's a
right
ward
onto
there.
Vision.
He doesn't know.
Well, he might know now, but they're actually delaying any response to the side push. Who's going to go back for the Fiora?
Nobody can back. This is actually, this might just be game over.
This might just be game.
Yeah, I think Fiora might just end the game.
Camille is 10 seconds? I don't know. Okay, well, Fiora's backing away. No steal comes in. The Baron will go the way of Live Sandbox. And Fiora says, well, there's not enough time.
Okay, now can Live Sandbox all in the game? I don't think so. Inner turret and an Ocean Drake. That's what you get for this one. I was worried that T1 was just going to stop the backs and Dahl was going to end the game.
Yeah, if he had like 5 more seconds on the enemy Camille, maybe.
Yeah.
It was pretty close, though. I think there was a world where maybe he could have commit to it.
Maybe they can end this. I mean, they have Baron buff.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Diablo is kind of insane
TP.
at this point in time. Bout is nearly going to go down. They are committing pretty heavily for the Lux, and Vincenzo just goes down as the rest of the team is just hitting the turrets. They're just hitting the turrets. They want to end the game, but I don't think they have enough.
Bout's giving the shields.
It's not enough. Dahl is being chunked down. Diablo is gigantic. As Dahyuk says, get away from my team.
Bout,
yeah, I don't know about that one.
Bout had ult. Manny could have tried to snipe him. He doesn't, though, but look who's back in the bottom lane. Dahl, as you say, he's got some super minions pushing through. That mid inhibitor spawn.
Oh, he hit it!
He
was going to die to Dahl anyway, but looked really cool.
I think that might be the end of it. I think that's the end of it, Valdez.
It's T1's chance.
Okay,
but they're up
defending
against
Baron buff minions.
Yeah, and they're up against someone who is stronger than Baron currently. That's Zeri.
Yeah, and Vincenzo's coming up with ult here, and his smite.
Oh, I don't know if he can do it alone.
I think they end.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think Diablo can do this alone. Vincenzo is available, but 1 gold card is enough. They just keep him at range, but Vincenzo goes in, and immediately the Nidalee is down. Another gold card is in. They're able to target down the turrets, and now they just have to click on the Nexus, and I think they have just done it. The damage was insane from the Zeri, but they just straight up avoid it, and they end the game. T1 just barely. Oh man, what a roller coaster. I love challengers.
Yeah, I'm sold. That's it. I'll end today on a good note with the craziest game I've commentated in a very long time. Lots of back and forth. Lots to work on in terms of the macro for both of these teams. But look, I will say, the one thing I'll say about both of these teams is that they were not afraid to put it all on the line. And as young as some of these players are, I mean, Live Sandbox, their average age is sitting around 17, okay? 3 18-year-olds, a 15-year-old, and a 16-year-old.
I think he did a little bit too much. Like, they didn't even really have a front line, but he actually acted as a pretty nice front line. Like, the riposte were on point. The split pushes were good.
He actually had the highest damage in the game as well, which is pretty crazy when you consider it's a Caitlyn.
There were a lot of moments in the last 10 minutes of that game where he was just getting, like, full grand challenge. Like, he hit, like, every side, and he's, like, doing massive chunks of damage. He probably did, like, half of his damage in the last 10 minutes, but still, a great game overall.
By the time they get here, they're just so good, and Dahl's going to pick it up.
Yeah. Fantastic game. I mean, to do that much damage on the Fiora alone is pretty notable, but his positioning on the Fiora, the decision-making, like, Fiora is a very difficult champion to play. I think it's part of the reason why, even in metas where she has been viable and a good pick in many metas, she was sometimes avoided at the higher leagues just because she's really difficult, right? Like, you need to be so on point with your mechanics. You basically need to be perfect at some points. But he showcased a lot of that, like a lot of great decision-making as well. So really got to hand it to the guy.
Between Live Sandbox Youth's really young players and how they almost dismantled T1 in 2 games back-to-back. Remember, in Game 1, they almost came back and won. Game 2 made it very close. It was very tough. Went from forcing Baron repeatedly to getting some really nice catches on T1, punishing their pushes. This team is, like I said, very young, so always exciting because these players are going to be around in the Challengers system for a really long time.
Maybe we'll see some of them pop their heads in on the Live Sandbox LCK roster, too. I mean, that looks like one of the weaker teams we have in LCK, to be honest.
Yeah, Dangmu, we haven't seen her yet, so like that's another hype thing about this team. It feels like they're bringing the romance of Live Sandbox back from the LCK. I'm kind of excited for this roster. Again, I like to talk about the losing team a lot in Challengers and, you know, basically like tier 2 tournaments like this because there's always things to improve on.